Hello everyone, in my American National Government class, wanted to give you a video announcement just to kind of set you up for the last week or so of class. Boy, this has been an interesting semester, has it not? And I sure miss all of you. I sure miss getting with all of you and talking through the issues of government. Again, you know, that's probably the greatest drawback of this pulling back that we've all had to do is that I tend to thrive on the interactions and questions and discussions that we have in class on some of these big issues in national government. We just haven't had a chance to do a lot of that. But hopefully you've gotten a lot out of this class. As I've said before, I'll say again, if you actually took the time to read the textbook, if you actually took the time to read all of the additional readings that I put in the canvas, you know, readings from the American founders, readings from many of the great progressive thinkers, okay? If you actually took the time to read all of that, in my humble opinion, you've gotten more insight than your average congressman, okay, at the state and national level. You know more about what's going on, or at least have a better background of many of the leaders of today. Because again, I just think it's important for us to understand the contrast between the founding era and how they thought government should be in a limited constitutional format, and the government that we have today. And again, what we're seeing right now with the whole COVID-19 economic response. You know, this is obviously fiscal policy, not monetary policy. We're involved in all kinds of fiscal policy trying to prop up our government, and we've gotten several trillions of dollars in more debt trying to bail out the average American businessman, and it's very, very interesting. Very much a New Deal on steroids with a Republican president. Okay, very, very interesting. And again, as you probably heard me say before, I'm fascinated to see as we start reopening the country, what that's gonna look like. What kind of easing are we gonna have as we try to get back to normal? Because again, the idea of the American government continually bailing out the average American, okay? Even though that began in earnest in the 1930s in the New Deal, to this extent, no. And again, my concern is it's not sustainable. You can't keep doing this. You cannot keep placing the country in that kind of extraordinary debt and expect to survive or to flourish. So again, it'll be interesting how our civil liberties are restored back to us as we're able to enjoy freedom of assembly, okay? Freedom of worship, you know, different things that have been taken away from us. Again, you know, we really appreciate freedom of assembly after it's been taken away from us. And we realize, oh my goodness, how much of that do we take for granted? You know, being able to go to a football game, being able to go to a basketball game or a concert or going to the beach, or, you know, just being able to gather together in a classroom to talk about course material live and in person. You know, what an incredible blessing that is. And we've realized how much that is now, I think much more so once it's been taken away. And my hope is that we'll appreciate it a lot more. So, yeah. So a couple other things here as far as we move forward to next week. Your discussion posts are due this Sunday on April 26th at midnight. So again, we're talking about Chapter 17, Foreign Policy. And so those are due. The final exam will be on Tuesday, April 28th. And it basically, it's on the honor system. You're not supposed to use your notes. Okay, it's 50 questions, multiple choice, true and false, some fill in the blank. You'll have 55 minutes to complete it. You'll have between 12:01 a.m. on Tuesday until 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday to take it. Obviously, don't start it at 11:59 because it closes. You probably ought to start that test by 11 p.m. Okay, but again, once you start it, you'll have 55 minutes. Okay, and so and that'll be it. You know, if you have any questions about anything, please shoot me an email. I've been trying to respond as quickly as I get them. in the midst of all my other classes and all my other responsibilities. So please do that. Also, I'm going to send you a link to a very interesting Q&A with Victor David Hanson. Victor David Hanson is an eminent historian, an eminent political scientist. He teaches at Stanford University, at the Hoover Institution. He also teaches at Hillsdale College. He's taught all over America. But it's a really good interview that deals with what's going on in the COVID-19 issue, how the president's dealing with it. It's a very fascinating segment when he talks about China and how our relationship with China might change, and how current politics with Trump and the liberals are impacted by all of this. Again, I thought it was just really, really good. I listened to it this morning. I'm gonna send it to all my classes, my international relations classes, because there's a lot of good stuff about international relations and foreign policy. And again, given the fact that our last chapter is on foreign policy, I thought that you might find some of these insights relevant and interesting. So I'm going to send that to as well as the link to this video. So stay tuned for that. And again, any questions, let me know. If I don't talk to you via video again, please know that it was my pleasure to have you as my students. I hope you learned a lot of this, learned a lot about American national government. I hope it maybe spurred you on to take additional classes. And if I can be a help to you in the future, please let me know. Take care.